Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games, back tonight with another really cool arcade game video for you. All day long today, we have been working on this game. This is called Fire Stomper, like the song. I can't remember which band that was. But we have been working on this thing. This is a redemption game. Usually we do not buy redemption games. But here's what happens. Someone will contact us, like in this situation. A guy called us and he said, hey, I've got a whole storage building full of games. Are you interested? And there were several games in there that we were absolutely interested in. And so we told the guy, sure. And we went and picked it up. And we brought it in. And we bought all the other stuff too. We brought it in and we put this in storage, and it just sat there and sat there and sat there. And the thing worked. You know, it actually still worked. It's just it takes up a lot of room, so it's hard to display. It also is a redemption game, which doesn't sell as well because you kind of have to keep operating it. By the way, it's probably going to make some noise here in a minute and cut me off, but that's fine. I talk too much anyways. So my whole point is we get games like this all the time that we don't have, that aren't really in our wheel well that much. But I don't like throwing anything away. It's kind of free money, you know, and it's kind of a cool game. It just needs somebody to take the time and go through it and fix it up and check it all out and work on it. So that's what we've been doing all day long. And the reason that we're doing it today is because enough's enough. Our building here is getting full. We've got a storage building with, I haven't counted lately, but nearly 200 games in it. And so what happens is you get stuff in like this, and then the cool games you take and you go ahead and fix, and then stuff like this just lingers and sits around and sits around. And we've got an entire room here at our store full of stuff like this, and we're trying to go through it and fix some of them. So since I knew this one was pretty much working, it just needed to be worked through and cleaned up, I thought, hey, let's do this one. So we finally got the thing ready, right? Now, in this room, I'll show you a few of the games that we've got that fit the same bill, right? So the easiest one to show you is this one right next to it. So it's funny that we have it right next to the kids' redemption game. This is a bingo pinball machine. You know, if you're older, you remember playing them. If you haven't, these were the ones that you gambled on. And it's got kind of a, I don't know, I guess it's not an adult theme, but it's a little risque, right? It's a gambling machine, right? And this is the same thing. There is a certain customer that really likes these and that will want this, but it's going to take a bunch of time to get it working just right. Now we could just sell it broke real cheap, but I kind of like it. I kind of want to fix it, but it's going to take a lot of time whenever we finally do. Similar situation, we bought 1, 2, 3 Stern Stingray machines, but they all need worked through, right? So, but you'll see a video of that pretty soon whenever we do the Stingray. And then we got this thing. This is called Dreamboat. It's a quarter pusher. You know, like they have at the fair. You drop coins in and it pushes them. There's a big stack of them and it pushes them. It's another gambling thing, right? So we can't really fix this and put it in our showroom and let people play it and all that. One, we'd lose money. What? What's going on? Okay. One, we'd lose money or make money, and that's illegal in South Carolina where we're at. So, but I don't want to throw it away because it's really cool. But this room's full of really cool. You know, like we keep getting stuff. Here's an old student Prince pinball we bought off of a gentleman because it's just a neat one, but look at the wear on it. So if you've seen some of our videos, you know we're going to fix it, but it's going to take forever, you know, and I've got other stuff to work on. There's a Jubilee back there. Miss Pac-Man, we love getting Miss Pac-Mans actually. We've got a Revolution X here. But the board has all kinds of acid damage on it. But we got it super cheap. And it's super cool. So whenever we find another board, or I can figure out how to spend enough time to fix the board that's in it, you know, we'll get it done. We've got an NBA fast break pinball here. Same thing, works fine. It just needs to be shopped and gone through. We've got a Steel Battalion Xbox controller here. We did just test it out, but it's so big, we can't really display it. If you put it out on the showcase, it blocks everything that's in the showcase, right? We've got a Wurlitzer 2810 jukebox. Really cool jukebox. I'm going to fix it. It's just going to take forever. So my whole point is we're way backed up. This old row jukebox. Stuff everywhere. So there's another Wurlitzer over there. So my whole point is we have plenty to work on. And so I'm working on this one today because I got to start fixing this stuff. And I thought maybe this one would be the easiest. Maybe I could get it done in one day. And we did. So we got it done in one day. So this is Lasertron's Fire Stomper. And again, it's not usually the type of thing that we would buy, but it is cool. And in my opinion, it deserves to be fixed up. So guess what? That just happened. It just got fixed up. It had about half the lights burn out. Almost none of the switches were working. The sound was way too loud. We figured out how to adjust that. There's no manual, so I couldn't figure out how to make the thing work. So it's just, you know, it's a time drain or a time suck. If you haven't seen that podcast, it's really cool. Let me show you what's going on behind it, and I'll show you how it works. I guess I should show you the art first. So it's just a little kid's game. There was another one called Spider Stompin' that was a lot like this. It was made by a different company. This was made by Lasertron, who did a lot of things. So it's got this kind of plexiglass front on it. And you know, the purpose of a redemption game is for younger kids, and it spits out tickets. A lot of people that are into like vintage arcade game stuff, of course, they don't really like the ticket stuff. But there's a whole new generation that this is the type of stuff that they played. So they don't know anything about the Star Wars Vector arcade game or anything like that. They know about Fire Stomper. They saw one time and they really liked it or whatever. So it was made by Lasertron out of Pleasanton, California. But they are now out of business, unfortunately. This was probably late 90s, maybe early 2000s. So it's got some years on it. And the object of the game is you put in a quarter, you stomp on Spider Stompin', you stomp on the platform, whichever one lights up. But on this one, which probably ripped off Spider Stompin', I doubt it was the other way around, but on this one, there's also the ones on the control panel, which they say you should whomp. So you stomp on the platform and you whomp on the control panel, right? It's a very good looking game. Lots of lights. It's got this this kind of corrugated plastic over the foot pad that cleaned up very nice. There's a little watch your step sign. I heard a story once. I'll tell you a little story. I heard a story once, and I know it's true because I heard it and knew a lot about it. It's true. One of these was in a family entertainment center, and they were having a birthday party, and an older lady was walking out of a doorway and tripped over the platform. It was actually a Spider Stomper. It wasn't a Fire Stomper. Tripped over the platform and fell on the ground and broke her hip. Legit fell down and broke her hip. She didn't see the platform sticking out, you know, and so the location that it happened in didn't have insurance. And the lady really was hurt badly, and it really was because she tripped over the platform on the front of the Spider Stompin'. So she sued the Fun Center. She sued the company that owned the arcade game, and I don't think she won anything from either one of them. I never heard the end of the. I heard about it whenever it was actually ongoing, but they were trying to say that. You know, it's horrible that she did get hurt and everything, but that it doesn't constitute a hazard, there's literally lights and stuff flashing on it, which it's just one of those things. So every time I see one of these, I always think about that. But anyway, let me show you the back of it, and I'll show you how the thing works and how the switches work, and then we'll play it a little bit. Won't that be exciting? So here is the back of the machine. Right? So I guess we'll start, we'll do it like we always do. We'll start at the plug, right? So the power comes in, and it goes into this big high voltage setup here, which is just a big power supply. So it has this huge transformer to run all the lights and stuff. This was before the day of LEDs. And it has this little power supply here that creates the voltages that the PCB and everything needs. And there's a little filter over here, a line filter, and a fuse. And then that power runs up here to this PCB board that Lasertron developed themselves. One of the cool things about this hardware, even in the Redemption games, is that it's all dedicated stuff that these companies developed themselves that was only used for their games. You know, they went, think of the money that it would have cost to design that. And then look what they named the board. Let me see if I can find I think it's right there. This is the new Jumbo Main PCB. PCB 100093. And so if you look on the board, there's a ton of stuff that's not even populated. Down here on the bottom, there's whole areas that are not populated. And so the reason that they do that is so that they can use it in several games, of course. So they spend the money to develop that board. I guess they had a team of folks designing it. They designed that board, and then they can make 10 different Redemption games that all use the same boards, and some of them may have different things populated. Like this area here that's not populated, if you look really close, it says dual motor driver. So, I don't know. You can imagine what that would be used for. But the PCB has a little CPU chip, a RAM chip, and a ROM chip. And then it does a lot of inputs from the switches, and over there lots of outputs on this game, mainly for lights. There's no motors or anything. And of course lots of wiring harnesses. Lasertron used a separate soundboard, but again, instead of using something off the shelf, this was all dedicated stuff that they developed themselves. So you see the EEPROM there with the window exposed so that this fluorescent light up here can slowly erase it for me. If that chip gets erased, I am screwed. Nobody's got that. I better make a copy of it, right? A couple 8-ohm speakers, and then look at this. These are for the displays. More dedicated stuff, you know, that they developed themselves. Think of the money they must have spent, and that they must have charged, and that they must have made, you know. Lasertron PCB 100031 Revision B, functionally the same as PCB 10031 Revision A, it says, okay. And that is a UCN 5832A, whatever that is. I guess some kind of display driver, right? So at the top, there are 3 little bulbs that blink. There is a fluorescent bulb. Here are our speakers. Okay, and then we got a little sticker over here. It says fire number 013, model 500510-PIR, no, -FIR, model fire Stomper M510, and then it says 2.00 of 5.00, serial number 185, game label, and this is quality approved, and I think that says date 3/16/99 by Melendez. I can't quite make it out, it's faded. Okay, so the stomping pad has wires that disconnect. You can slide them through that little hole there and completely disconnect the pad. And then it plugs in here, there, and it gets a ground. So this is the inputs. So this is where the switches are coming in. That is where the lights are coming from. And then the ground is the ground. We all know the ground. And then accessible through the front door. Over here on the left you have a test button, a credit button, an up button, a down button, and a volume, right? And then you have the ticket dispenser. The most important thing, right? Now, those numbers are upside down, but I'm going to read them for you. Here's the coin meter, okay? Are you ready for this? I'm going to let you see it upside down on the back of the door. Coin meter, 160,296. So that's $40,000 that's been ran through this thing. But that's in tokens, so I guess some of the tokens didn't cost a quarter, but pretty wild. And there are a few little signs in it that tell you that the bulbs for the hand panel, which this is the bottom of here, by the way, there are 6 button assemblies. I'll show you those in the foot panel here in a minute. The ones in the hand panel are 89 bulbs, but the ones in the bottom, they have 2 bulbs. There's one in the panel, in the button, and then there's one in the side that lights up to show outside of the cabinet. You saw the blinking lights earlier. So they use 28 volt bulbs. I don't know how that works or why it's like that, but that's how it's set up. I guess maybe they've got them daisy chained together or something, but I don't know how. You'd think that would work the other way. Maybe somebody that knows about electronic design can tell me why that why that is. But all right, so that's enough inside. Let's look in the panel so we can see what the switches and stuff look like. So there is a hinge, a couple hinges on the bottom of this platform. So you can raise it up. Of course, it bolts into place when it's on location. You can see where all of the drinks have been spilt inside of it. But yeah, it says use only 28 volt, 6.4 watt type 1251 or equivalent foot panel bulbs. So if you look, it lights up the one on the outside and the one on the button at the same time. So for whatever reason, they made these a different voltage. I don't understand why that would be. Because I would think if they were in series or something. I don't think they are though. Whatever. It is what it is. But we got all them working. So let me show you one of these buttons. Now the ones on the control panel are exactly the same. This one's a little dirty, but it'll be all right. So I assume that this is their own design because I've never seen these on anything else. They're big old things. They're probably 7 inches wide, something like that. The one way, and then the other way, they're without the flanges, they're 5.5 or something. But the red button you can easily push down, and then it's got a big spring under it. I wonder if I triggered that by hitting the button. There is a big spring under the button. Now, whenever we got this, 2 of them were stuck down because there was a quarter stuck in the slot on the control panel. So someone had put a quarter, someone had pushed in the button, dropped a quarter in there, and then it was stuck down. Right? So we had to turn the whole thing upside down, take the control panel off, and turn it upside down to get the button to pop back out. But the way they designed it was whenever this pushes down, there is a little... Have I got my light on me? Let me illuminate the situation. Free Coca-Cola. There is a little rubber pad on top of the switch. And so when this pushes in, the rubber pad pushes the switch down. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4 switches on each one of these just to be redundant, you know. So if you look, they're all daisy chained together on each switch. So on this one, there is a black ground wire, and then there is a brown wire that goes to all 4 switches. And when it pushes down, if any of those 4 switches triggers, it registers as a hit. So I guess they just did that so that, you can have 3 switches go bad and one of them will still work and you'll still get the points. And so they're trying to make it more reliable for operators. I have heard operators say, though, that the switches are kind of a pain, right? That they had trouble with the switches. So not sure how well that worked for the locations. And then whenever this lays down, the light stick up right through the buttons. Now on this one, they're all just mounted with the lights on a bar right behind the buttons. But very good looking game. Very cool. So sometimes whenever we get these in, there's some evidence inside of them. I'm going to drop this. It's going to make a little noise. Sometimes whenever we get these in, there's some evidence inside of them to tell you where they came from. So if you ever played this back in the day, and I've probably lost all of the people that aren't interested in these by now because it's been 15 minutes or whatever. So the people that are watching now probably played this back in the day. If you ever played this back in the day or saw it or your kids played it or whatever, it's kind of neat to think, I wonder if this is the same one that I played. This may be the exact same one you played. Well, guess what? I found some stuff inside of it that's going to tell us at least one of the locations that it was at. So, this is from, drum roll please, Putt Putt Golfing Games. 1. Another Putt Putt one. 2. Another Putt Putt one. Another Putt Putt. So I found 5 tokens inside of it from Putt Putt. And then, check this out. Are you ready? We found 2 Putt Putt tickets down in the gunk inside of it, and look at this. Apparently Putt Putt labels their tickets, so this is from Indiana. So this game spent at least some part of its time in a Putt Putt Golfing Games in Indiana somewhere. So if you ever played one in Indiana, this may have been the one. All right, so the next thing that happened, I'm running out of time here. The next thing that happened was, people have been making fun of my pad of paper that I use on these. This is our buddy that owns a printing company down the road a little bit, and he brings me free pads of paper. So, I mean, that's a cool guy. So here's the problem. I got the thing, I didn't have the manual. There is no manual anywhere on the internet. I searched everywhere. My Google foo is strong. I could not find the manual for this freaking game. And nobody had the dip switches or anything. So get this. This is what it was doing. After we fixed all the switches, after we fixed all the bulbs, after we cleaned it all up, see how it's doing right now? Look how beautiful it is. Lights everywhere, right? See all the lights, all the cool lights? You start the game, and the whole object of the game is the lights come on, and you stomp on the light, right? You get a point. You start the game, guess what? No lights come on. So what the crap? And they work fine, and they attract. Obviously, the lights work. The lights would not come on. So after thinking about it, I thought, you know what? I'll bet there's a setting to tell it how long to let the light stay on. So it'll make it hard for the kids, right? So I had no manual, and there are 16 program steps inside of it, right? So I went through, and P1 was set on 0. I turned it on 10 and tried to play a game. Nothing changed. None of the lights came on. P2, P3, and then I finally got to P4, and it was set on 0. And so I set it on 10, and guess what? The lights showed up. So I figured out through trial and error, there are 3 modes, fast, medium, and slow. I figured out through trial and error that P4 changes how slow the slow game is. They had it set on 0, which meant the lights never light up. If you put it on 1, they just blink really quick, and it's impossible to hit it, right? So this is how the operators used to cheat the little children's. So P4 was, I set it on 80. I don't know what the recommended setting is, and there was no, there may be some way to set it back to factory defaults, but hey, I don't have the manual, so I don't know. So I put P4 on 80. P5 was for the medium game. P6 was for the fast game. And then P7 was how many points to get into the bonus round. Took me a while to figure that one out. P8 is how many credits it is to start a game. It was set on 1, so I changed it to 10, and it made it where it takes 10 quarters to start the game. And then I figured out 9, 10, 11, 12, I can't tell what they are. 13 is how many seconds long the game is. I think I've got it on 40 or something like that. And then I figured out that P16 is the courtesy ticket. So that's how many tickets you get if you don't win the jackpot or you don't get whatever the preset number is or whatever. So right now, for our showroom, I've got it set on you get 1 ticket because I don't want to waste all my tickets. Whenever somebody buys this, I will tell them, hey, turn number 16 up to whatever you want it to be. And if we find a manual, we'll figure out how to make it where you get a bunch more if you get a certain number of points or whatever. So anyway, I'll set up the tripod and we'll play it a little bit and you just hear some of the sounds, and there's not much to it, but we're not really trying to sell you this. We're just trying to record it so that people will have something to check out on YouTube if they ever want to see what Fire Stomper was all about. All right, folks, we're going to play it a little bit. Now, if you have long arms, if you're not a curtain climber, you can just play it with your hands because I can reach the pedals and the thing at the same time. So it's very simple. You put a credit on it, and then you've got just a few seconds to pick slow, medium, or fast. I think it automatically picks slow if you don't.
Ready, set, go!
And then for the bonus round, it just moves, and you try to, it gets faster as it goes. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 9 tickets. And that's that. But look how good the game looks in the dark, too. Now, can you leave this game in the dark like this? No, you can't, because people trip over it, really, honestly. That was not a lie. That actually happened. Very cool. So there you go. I hope if anybody played this back in the day and they remember it, this will bring back good memories to them. Now, by the time you see this video, Fire Stomper may have stomped off to somebody else's game room. The way you can tell is drive by our shop. You might even be able to do it on like Google Maps. Drive by our shop and look in the front window. It's the very first game right on the corner. You can literally see it from the sidewalk out front. So the game may not be here anymore, though. It may have stomped off to somebody else's game room. We may not have it available anymore. So we're not really just trying to sell you a game. We're trying to just document this for posterity's sake. But you can see all the games that we do have available for sale on our website. Go to lionsarcade.com and check it out. We've always got a bunch, several pages of games for sale. Some are more obscure ones like this that aren't as desirable, and some are, more of the classic stuff. So it just depends on what we've got in. Check it out. I just put this one on there tonight, so we always keep it up to date. Now, if you're local, you can come by and see us. We're in downtown Rock Hill, South Carolina, right on the sidewalk, like I was just showing you. And we've got a building full of games like this, including our new front room here that we're going to try to fix all this stuff. This is a good start. It's looking pretty monumental, though. Maybe we'll do one of those stingrays next or something. You can stop by and see us. We're in downtown Rock Hill, South Carolina. Like I said, it's 15 miles south of Charlotte, North Carolina, if you're more familiar with that. But if you can't come by because you're not anywhere near us, and you're not interested in buying a Fire Stomper, that's fine. Just subscribe to us here on YouTube if you can. And every time we get a video like this, it will suggest it to you and let you know what we're up to. We upload 2 videos a week, usually, sometimes more. So we always got something interesting going on, if you consider this interesting, which I do. Man, I'm like, I can't believe how nice that thing lights up. I've been looking at it for a year and a half with none of the lights working. You know, just turned off, and then whenever we plugged it up to test it, you know, all the lights didn't come on. So like that, the back thing, I've never seen lit up. That looks great. What a great design. For what it was, you know, I mean, very cool. So leave your comments below. Let me know what you think about it. Did you ever play this thing? Did your kids ever play this thing? Have you ever seen this thing? Do you think it's just a big rip-off of spider stomping? I think it is. Leave your comments below. Make sure to give us a thumbs up. Woo, for taking the trouble to film it for you. If I can illuminate my thumb. For taking the trouble to film it for you. I hope you enjoyed it, found something that you liked. And leave your comments below. We will see you on the next video. This is Lasertron's 1999 Fire Stomper.